Good morning everybody. My name is Brahman Menor, teacher for Pranic Living and Enlightenment. And today I like to do a Q&A about the main topics of Pranic Living. As a lot of you know, but not everybody, I'm living on Prana. I hardly eat and drink. And I'm doing that for the last 2.5 years. After I made the transformation, I felt that it was time to teach a lot of people the way to Pranic Living. And for the last 15 years I've been trying all types of diets. After a period of bodybuilding, I ate almost everything, a lot of calories. Then I had my first huge spiritual awakening moment. And from that moment on, I knew that I needed to eat in a different way. So I started vegetarian, vegan, fruitarian, liquidarian, intermediate fasting. I tried it all. And at the end, nothing didn't work. I kept on losing weight. I didn't feel 100% clear in my mind. Energy levels weren't as I hoped that it could be. So when I surrendered after that, with the question, what's my next step? I met someone who had a breatharian in-house. And he started talking about not eating, not drinking, and my whole system said yes. This was my next step. And it took me a couple of years to accept that, and after that, acceptance, I received, let's call it a strategy, to transform my body. Now listen good, to transform my body. We're going to talk about the transformation and the way to Pranic Living after this introduction. But you really need to transform your physical body in a lot of ways. After doing that, I knew that this was my way of living. All the advantages that I felt and experienced were so much more than I hoped for. So what I experienced is what I like to share with all of you. So let's start with a couple of questions, because there are a lot of topics that people really don't understand, and they keep on coming back. So let's start with the first question.
The difference, lots of people say they're eating minimally.
Yeah.
And they're sharing that that's their path to Pranic Living. Yeah. And you always have a certain answer to that.
Yeah. So a lot of people already eat less or are doing intermediate fasting, but eating less is not the way to Pranic Living. I've tried it all as well as a fruitarian, as a liquidarian. I just ate 300-400 calories maximum. And I kept on losing weight till I was so skinny. And I needed to start eating in a normal way. When I did a pranic transformation, first I made a decision. There your change starts. Then I did 1 week of transformation, because you need to change your physical body. You need to start changing the physical body. So that's a transformation. There are certain things in your body that you need to change. To really let the amount of prana in that the physical body really needs to function. And we will talk about that a little bit later as well. So eating less is not the way to pranic living, because you will keep on losing weight. And the second thing, if you start eating less, your metabolism will go down. And you really don't need that much calories anymore. So people think that because due to the fact that they eat less calories, that they start living on prana. That's not the case, because people can really live on 500, 600, 700 calories with a lot of carbohydrates, and when it's easy digestible, so a lot of juices, a lot of fruit, you still live on the calories of the food. You don't make the switch to pranic living. If you don't transform your body, you don't live on prana. I hear a lot of people and I see a lot of messages about people saying that they live on prana. Well, believe me, try to live at least a month without food and drinks. Then you will see if you really live on prana. Because living on minimum diet is not living on prana. So I don't hope that I make a lot of people angry, or I say that live on prana and they hear the truth, because that's the real truth. Even the people, some people that did my retreat, they started eating again in a minimum way, and they say, I'm pranic living. But they recondition the body as well, over and over again. So you really need to transform your body. You can really switch it off and keep staying on the same weight. Of course, most people will lose weight. I stopped at 73 kilograms and I stayed 73. That was pretty skinny for that year. And after that year you can visualize that you can gain some weight. And I gained 7 kilos within 6 months. You know, you see I'm not that skinny. I have some fat and some muscles. And I'm not pretty skinny. Well, I think I look pretty normal at this moment. So I'm really happy with that. And you can all do that. So, next question.
When people have a call with you to ask about the Pranic retreat, almost all of them mention how they've been touched by a video of you or touched in the call with you.
Yeah, a lot of people are touched when they meet me or see a YouTube movie, and what's happening at that moment of connecting, because that's who I am, what I can bring to people. let's stay to the topic of Pranic Living. Because when I share Pranic Living, there are two types of people. One, the one that tries to understand Pranic Living with their mind. Well, Pranic Living can never be understood by the mind, even though the whole process, is not a spiritual process. It's medically proven what I do and what I received. It's totally perfect. And the second type of people are the ones that really feel and recognize that it's possible. They start crying. They feel their inner calling. That was my way as well. So you try to understand Pranic Living with your mind. The mind is always in the way of surrendering to the real truth. The real truth can only be felt in your body. And you get a little bit emotional, as I am all the time. And you feel that it's your time to make the switch. And what you also need to know, that Pranic Living can be recognized by all of you. Because your first cell, the stem cell, the first cell where your life or your physical life started, was a Pranic Living cell. It wasn't connected to anything. It was living on energy, living on chi or source, or let's call it just simple energy. So within all of us we know that every cell can live on prana. And we recondition the cell, change the cell to a different type of cell, we can all go back to that first memory. We can all live on prana, everywhere. So that's the recognition that people feel in their body. The real truth. Without trying to understand it with their mind.
For the pleasing of the mind.
Pleasing of the mind.
Yes. Would you talk a bit about the cell and DNA transformation?
Yeah. One of the most important things in my retreat, my transformation and your transformation as well, is to recondition your cell. Because in our cells is conditioning. The conditioning says, I need at least 2 liters of water. That's what the memory that we stored. I need healthy food. I need vitamins. I need minerals. I need carbohydrates, proteins, etc., etc., etc. We are totally conditioned as we are. So if you want to make the switch to Pranic Living, you have to take out as much conditioning as possible. That will take you a year. Because every cell that regenerates is getting rid of the conditioning. To be able to split into 2 different cells. Those 2 cells are Pranic Living cells. The process is done in the visualization guided by me. But those cells totally feel different. If you do the visualization, you integrate that, that's the start of your transformation. And the whole physical body will take a year to transform. After a year, every cell in your physical body is regenerated. Some over and over again. For example, your skeleton will take you a year to regenerate in total. So the next question that pops up: will it take a year after the retreat to start living on prana? No. After 3 months, 80%, so your soft tissue, so your skin, your muscles, all your soft tissue will regenerate within the first 3 months. So after those 3 months, you are already able to live fully on prana. But you also need to know, during that time of regeneration, everything that's stored, emotional traumas as well, will come out. You don't have to face them, because that's what we do our whole life, face them with our mind. You just have to keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on having faith in the process. Because there will be many times that you feel tired, sick, losing your hair, getting a rush, feeling certain pains for a week or 2 weeks. But that's getting rid of the negative energy connected to that cell and that emotion. And it will trigger you for sure, and it will give you some doubts. Is this a process? Because I don't feel that great. But 2 weeks later you will feel flying. A lot of energy, huge drive. And then the next thing will pop up again and again and again. And that's especially in the first year. So that's what you need to do, regenerate your cells and also your DNA. You have to repair your DNA, that's done during a visualization as well. And you'll get a DNA extension given by source. How or why? Don't ask. It's presented, I may share it with you during a beautiful visualization, and you will feel and experience that it's really happening. It's not about, alright, visualize it, that's it. You have to feel and experience the change. If you feel the change, you know it is right. Because you can't believe in it, so you have to experience it, you have to feel it. When you felt the difference in your cells and your DNA, you have to experience in the memory that it's possible. And the trust, 100% trust. You need 100% trust to go pranic. Otherwise, it's a very hard way. But still, it's possible for everybody. No more questions? Some. Let me explain a little bit more about the whole process, because first, my process, that's not for everybody, but my process and what I share is first you have to transform your cells and your DNA. That's what I told you. Secondly, you have to get rid of the conditioning. Conditioning is everything that we stored as a memory. Everything that you heard, you were told, you've read, that's a conditioning. Even the creations of your own mind, that's conditioning. And the conditioning is always in the way to pranic living. So you have to get rid of as much as possible of your conditioning. You can't get rid of everything. I can help you for 70%. Or, when the memory is still there, I can let you feel and experience what it is to live without a conditioning. You have a different experience and you can use that for pranic living. Secondly, we have a lot of emotional issues. We all stored negative memories, negative experiences that we had in our life. If you don't work on that, and you just try to make the switch, or you make the switch, you will have a very tough year, or even 2 or 3 years, because all the emotions will keep on coming up. Because what happens if you eat, we eat the emotions away. We store them because our physical body is working on food. Food is most of the time pleasant for the mind and memories, pleasant for the physical body. So we keep on eating and we keep on gaining weight. When you take out the food and you just live on juices, what you need to do for the first 3 months after the transformation, there are no food layers anymore. So everything that's stored in your body will come up. And if you have never worked in the emotional layers or emotional traumas, or as we do in the retreat, work every evening on your emotional layers, they will come up in the next year. And you really will struggle with the transformation. So you need to work on your emotional layers, your conditioning. The last one, for me most important, and for most participants most important. Pranic living can never be accepted by the mind. People that are trying to start pranic living through the mind, that is believing in. That's no trust. Trust can only be experienced. So if you feel how it is to live in prana, when you feel how it is to live in total food freedom, you know it without believing it. Believing is hoping that it's going to be. Knowing by experience is 100% faith. The mantra that I teach participants in the retreat, I am source. And you can never say I am from your mind. Then it's I believe that I am source. I'm believing in zero trust. I am knowing I am source, and I will nourish this body, because you are not the physical body. You are spirit, your energy, connected to everything that is. And that energy is dancing through your cells, between your cells of your physical body. So you can nourish your body in its total perfection from your soul. I always say, I nourish my body, because I am not my body. I am a soul. And I will nourish this beautiful temple of my soul, in which I live and experience life in its total perfection. So I'll give everything to my body that's needed to live as long and as healthy as possible. How do I feel right now? The best I've ever felt. I tried everything, a lot of vitamins, a lot of, well, whatever was out there, I've tried it. And without everything, right now, just living on prana, no food, no drinks, I'm clearer than ever. I have an inner stillness that's absolute. When you take out all the food, you get a de-stressed body that just wants to be silent. But you can still keep on having a busy life. I'm a very busy guy, I do a lot of things, but my inner stillness is always there. People feel what I am. When I enter my office, there's a certain peace coming in. People feel the difference around me. around all the participants. The words that are coming out, the sound that's coming out, is soft. Let's judgment or no judgment. So that's what Pranic Living is, the gift to you. I hardly sleep because my physical body don't need any rest anymore. Between 1-2 hours a night, between 4 and 6 hours a week. Do I meditate? No. I am most of the time in a meditation state of meditation. I don't know how to call it, but I feel very connected to the here and now. I feel my spirit and I feel my physical body. My energy is always high or too high. My physical body totally healed. I had a lot of damage from bodybuilding for 17 years with a huge amount of weightlifting and pumping up my muscles. So I had a lot of a lot of pains. I lost the right word. I felt a lot of pain in my elbows, my neck, my shoulders, my lower back, my knees especially from lifting. It's all gone. It's all healed. So for me, and for most of the participants, it was the most beautiful week they have experienced and the most beautiful gift they have given themselves. Most of them have done a lot of different retreats, diets, meditations, yoga, etc., etc. And they thought they've seen it all till they started this process. It changed their lives forever. Because Pranic Living is centering you with yourself, within yourself. And everything that doesn't resonate on you anymore will fade away. New things will appear. It changed my life, and it changed the life of the 80-90 participants that have already done the retreat in a very positive way. And for sure, it will challenge you in the first year, but after that, you will look back on that year and you will smile and say, this is the gift I've given myself. How beautiful is that? So do I still meditate a lot? No. Do I still go to the toilet? Yeah, of course. Sometimes. Do I eat and drink? Sometimes. Especially with my parents. Because they are 75. They don't understand Pranic Living. And they still enjoy family coming together and eating and drinking. So when I'm there, I'll adjust. And I eat and drink with them. It's my decision to do it when not to do it. Food freedom, as I call it, is living without food. That's a freedom. And you can take some food or some drinks when you really want to adapt to the situation. For example, when I have a business dinner, I can adapt. When I'm with my parents, I can adapt. When I'm alone or with friends that resonate on the same life that I have, I don't need to eat and drink. That's freedom that you have. I live on Prana, hardly eat and drink. And once in the 2-3 weeks I can adapt. I want to adapt. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the taste, enjoy the smells. That's still the memory. I don't fight it, and I know that I will feel less clear, a little bit more tired, as I always did, but I didn't know that it was possible to feel better for 1 or 2 days after eating something and drinking. And after that it's clarity all over, a lot of energy. Hardly sleep. And of course, when you sleep less, when the routines or making food are gone, you have a lot of spare time. You need to find a way to accept your spare time. Some people really like to fill it up with activities. I like to spread my activities through the day, so I can be silent for 2 hours, can work for 2 hours, can go to the sauna, and still be silent, look at a movie or whatever I want to do. So there are no for me no fixed times or structures that I have in my life. I live my life as I want to live my life, in freedom. Just go with the flow. Of course I need to plan, take a look at my agenda, because I need to plan some things. That's my only structure. For the rest it's total freedom. I hardly spend any money anymore on food and drinks, and it was a lot for me, especially when I did bodybuilding, but last couple of years I enjoyed a dinner and a lunch and some wine. That was 50% of spending of my money. So I could start working less and less, or spend my money in a different way. So I choose a life of minimalism, live on a boat. I don't spend any money anymore on useless things. I have some clothing, I have a laptop and cell phone that I work on. And for the rest, I hardly spend anything. I'm never sick, so my insurance is, health insurance is a bare minimum, because it's mandatory here in the Netherlands. You need to have an insurance, so that's what I have. So sometimes I just spend 300-400 euros a month, that's it. Because I don't need anything anymore. But that's my life. If you wanna fill it in completely different, with a lot of abundance, a lot of activities, that's also fine. You will always experience that inner stillness, a lot of energy, and you can do whatever you like to do. So, did we cover most of the topics? Yeah, great. Well, I hope that you really felt and recognized what's out there for you, that is possible for you to live on Prana. And when you still have questions, you can plan a call with me for half an hour, personally with me.
Only about the retreat.
Only about the retreat, Pranic Living, or my other retreat, Darshan. It's going deeper. It's not Pranic Living, it's going from your mind to your heart and deeper than you've ever been. You can check my website, www.brahmanmenor.com.
We'll put the link.
We'll put the link in in this life. So again, don't listen with your mind, don't try to understand it with your mind. Feel what Pranic Living can do for you, it resonates on you. When it does, please join me in my retreat, because it will be the biggest change in your life. The next retreat is in September this year. It's the only retreat still coming this year. Next year probably one or two more. So check the website, let us know. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you very soon. Satnam.